Hello everybody and welcome to Glow. It's Katie here. Today's class is a grounded gratitude flow. For this class, I do recommend grabbing a couple of blocks. They're not required, but they may help you feel better in some of the postures that we practice. Keeping the hands down towards the ground can also provide a sense of grounding. So 2 blocks optional. We are going to start in Sukhasana, an easy seated pose, legs crossed. You have blocks. You are also more than welcome to sit at the edge of one of your blocks so that your hips are elevated. And once you find your shape of Sukhasana, rest your hands down on your thighs, palms down. Let your eyes close. Take a full breath in from the nose and out from the mouth. Bringing your focus and attention to the natural rhythm of your breath. Now, our mental time away from the present moment is something that many of us struggle with. A lot of times it is easier to focus on what might be happening later or what's not happening or what has already happened than on what is currently happening. But when we are able to train our minds to return to what is happening right here and right now, it benefits us not only physiologically, but energetically and emotionally and spiritually. The meditative anchor of gratitude can ground us effortlessly back into reality. So before we begin our movement practice, I want you to take a moment here and just mentally jot down, create a running list of just some of the simple things that you feel gratitude for. What do you appreciate? What are you thankful for? Now start to notice how you feel after just a brief gratitude practice. I want us to carry that grounded feeling with us as we move today. Taking one more breath in, one more breath out. And then when you're ready, let's come into a tabletop position. So you can slide that block out from underneath you. And bring your blocks forward and come onto your hands and your knees. Bringing hands under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Taking a full breath in as we find our cow pose, lifting the tailbone and pulling our heart forward through the arms. And exhaling back into cat, noticing how good it feels to move the body. Do 2 more rounds. After this next cat pose, bring it back to a neutral spine and step your right foot in between your hands. And feel free to grab your blocks. You might even take your blocks to the tallest height, right under the shoulders. And once you're in this low lunge position, start to press your hip points forward and lift the chest upward, starting to open the heart, feeling a stretch through the left side of the body. Taking another full breath in. And as you exhale, gently pull the hips back, extending through the right leg, flexing through the right toes. Let's do that again. Inhaling forward, rolling the chest up, maybe looking up. And exhale, pulling back. One more time. Breathing in to our low lunge, hips forward. And then exhale, pulling back. I want us to hold this shape for about 5 breaths. With your next inhale, lengthen the spine as much as you can. And as you exhale, start to hinge forward. Feel free to bring your hands down towards the mat if you'd like. Really feeling the support at the mat underneath the hands. Allow the eyes to close. Stay present. What is happening right now? With your next breath in, let your gaze come forward. You can bring your hands back to your blocks if you'd like. Shift forward back into that lunge position. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, walk your hands forward about a foot in front of the right foot. Let the left leg lift up, supported warrior 3. Long spine, push through the left heel. Now you can always nix your blocks. You can bring your hands down towards the mat if you'd like. You can even adjust the height of your blocks to a shape that works for you. Let's stay for one more full breath in. And as you exhale, step your left foot next to your right foot. Bend the knees just a little bit. Come into a folded position and grab your elbows. Let yourself hang in ragdoll. And take about 2 or 3 breaths with any movement that you'd like. Shake out your head. Shrug the shoulders. And then bring your hands down towards your shins or perhaps the blocks, coming into a half lift. Just like supported warrior 3, pulling your heart forward, lifting the tailbone upward, taking a full breath in. Then as you exhale, bend your knees a bit, plant your hands down on the mat. So we all bring our hands to the mat. Step your left foot, then right foot back into a down dog. And from this down dog, take some movement here. Pedal at your feet a little bit. Grip your mat with your fingertips. So feeling the support again of the mat underneath you, finding that connection between hands and feet before finding a little bit of stillness. Taking one more full breath in. Then as you exhale, come to your tiptoes, drop the knees down. Tabletop position. Inhale, find your cow pose. And exhale, tuck and round, find your cat. Maybe close the eyes and do 2 more rounds. And then after this last cat pose, take a breath in, come back to a neutral spine. Step your left foot forward. Perhaps hands come back to your blocks. And as you find this lunge, I want you to really press your hips forward. So you may even adjust your stance, sliding your left heel forward slightly, so knees over ankle. I want us to roll up as tall as we can. Take a full inhale. Then as we exhale, pull the hips back. Lift the toes of the left foot up. And then again, inhale forward, chest up. The higher your blocks are for this one, the more stretch you're going to get through your front body in this Anjane variation. Exhale, pull back. One more time, take a full breath in, shifting forward, letting yourself move slowly. There's no rush. And then exhale, pulling back. Taking another full breath in to find some length in the spine, to lift the tailbone. Then use your next breath out to fold forward. Feel free to bring the hands down to your mat if you'd like. Focus on the breath. 5 inhales, 5 exhales here. Take a full breath in, let your gaze come forward. Feel free to bring your hands back to your blocks. Shifting forward, we bend the left knee, tuck your back toes, lift the right knee, inhale. Exhale, hands forward, pop the right leg up, supported warrior 3. Find your focal point, stare at that focal point. The drishti also helps us stay present. It increases focus and presence, so finding something to stare at can help us with feeling grounded. And then step your right foot next to your left foot. One more time, grab your elbows. Just hang for a moment in ragdoll, rocking side to side. And then from this position, come back to center, taking a full breath in, finding your half lift, hands to shins, ground or block. Bend the knees, plant the hands, and again, I want you to step it back into your downward facing dog. Taking about 3 breaths here, finding some movement for the first several rounds of breath if you'd like.
before anchoring in stillness. Noticing how good your down dog feels, or how good it feels just to move your body. And then I want you to let your gaze come forward between your hands. Walk your feet towards your hands. Once you get there, bend your knees just a little. Tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Tadasana. Feet hip width. Hands by your side. Spreading the toes wide and really pressing through the big toes of the feet to feel the inner arch lift as your tailbone anchors. Shift weight into your right foot and come to the tiptoes of your left foot. Feel free to bring your hands to your heart. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Angle your left knee out towards the left so that the sole of the left foot's to the inner right thigh. From here, you can decide how you want to take your tree pose. Maybe slide the leg up, maybe use your left hand to assist, anywhere to the inside of the right leg. Being mindful that you're not dumping into one hip. So if that right hip is kind of lifting and tilting, you drop that right hip down so your two front hip points are even. I want you to bring attention to your breath here. And perhaps back to that list of things that you're grateful for. And as you're practicing, maybe new feelings or experiences or thoughts are popping up of things that you feel gratitude for. I want you to hold that as we hold this posture for one more full breath in. Then as you exhale, lift the left foot off of the right thigh and swing that left leg forward to a one-legged Tadasana. So 90 degrees in the back of the left leg. Give a little bend to your right knee. Take a full breath in, and as you exhale, just step your left foot back into a high lunge position. I want you to take a full breath in, stretch your arms up. Maybe even take your hands behind your head, interlacing the fingers, opening up through the elbows and lifting the heart up. Before coming back to center, gazing forward, stretching the arms up as you inhale. And as you exhale, pivoting. So you're opening up into your warrior two. So back left foot turns to the left. Gaze is to your right hand. Weight is even in both feet. So really paying attention to the feet in warrior two today. Are you leaning too far forward? Can you pull weight back? Take another full inhale. Then as you exhale, so to pull the hips back to straighten through the right leg, push through the ball of your right foot. We want to feel the calf turn on. Bring your right hand to the inner right thigh. Inhale, reach your left arm up. As you exhale, start to slide the right hand down, finding Trikonasana. You also have a block. You're more than welcome to bring your hand to a block as long as you can keep that hand kind of light on the block so you're not dumping into the shoulder. So hand to the block, or perhaps hand comes down towards your mat. I want you to think about that left shoulder and shoulder blade pulling back as you open your heart upward. You might even look up towards the top left hand. Don't forget about the back leg, the back foot. Keep pressing into the pinky toe edge of your left foot. Hold right here. From this position, I want you to get really light in the right hand. So it's barely hovering the ground or the block. On the inhale, we reverse the warrior. So bend into the right knee. Take the right arm up and overhead. Left hand comes anywhere behind you. Full inhale. Exhale back to warrior two. Your next breath in, again, straighten through the right leg, but turn your right toes to the long side of the mat. Feet are parallel. Then on the exhale, dive it down to your wide-legged forward bend. And in this wide-legged forward bend, I just want you to bring your hands down to ground, or if you have your blocks, bring your hands to blocks. So hands are grounded. They are touching something, whether it's ground or blocks. And from this position, you can start to walk the blocks back or walk your hands back as if you're pulling your chest towards your thighs. Then allow the head to hang heavy. Take 5 breaths in Prasarita to Padottanasana. Notice your feet. Where's the weight at in the feet? If a lot of weight is in your heels, can you shift forward a bit? Can you place some weight into the balls of the feet, into your toes? With your next breath in, look forward. Walk your hands forward, coming into a half lift, and bring your blocks with you. We're going to walk towards the back of the mat. So walk your hands towards your left leg. Spin all 10 toes to the back of the mat. So you're in this nice low lunge. I want you to walk your left foot all the way out to the left so that hands are right under your shoulders. Drop the right knee down. Untuck the right toes for lizard. Take a full breath in as you pull your heart forward. Exhale as you bring your forearms down towards your blocks or the mat. Now again, your blocks have different heights. Adjust your height of your blocks. Feel free to slide the blocks away and bring your forearms down towards the mat if you'd like. I want you to take about 5 breaths here, palms down. After that last breath out, come back onto your palms. Hands can stay on blocks or a mat. I want you to tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, take an inhale, and as you exhale, step your right foot right outside of your right hand, angling the toes out a bit. Heels in, toes out, hands forward, breathe in. Exhale, sitting low into yogi squat or malasana. Now you have a block. You are more than welcome to take a block and sit on top of a block for today's malasana. But what I want you to do is I do want you to find a little bit of length here. I want you to bring attention to the tailbone, and I want you to anchor the tailbone down. Bring your hands to your heart, let the eyes close. I want us to find a bit of stillness and presence in Malasana. Not worrying about the next pose that we're going to practice, not worrying about the previous postures, but really sitting in this one. Take one more breath in. Take a breath out. You can blink your eyes open. Bring your hands down towards the mat or to your blocks. Lift the hips up into a folded position. Walk your feet in just a bit so that they're about hip width. From here, so we're facing the back of the house, feel free to turn, face any direction if you need. But I want you to bend your knees a bit. Tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, roll it up to standing, coming back to Tadasana, hands by your side. Again, looking at the feet for a moment and spreading the toes wide, really pressing down through the big toe, through the pinky toe edges as we anchor the tailbone down. Bring your hands to your heart. Place weight in your left foot. Come to the tiptoes of your right foot. Take a full breath in. On the exhale, angle the right leg out towards the right. And start to notice if the pelvis tilted any as you made that transition with the hip. 2 front hip points point straight ahead. Right foot slides up with or without assistance from the hand. And again, notice if you're dumping into that left hip or the right hip. Then find some stillness in tree pose. Hold for a moment. And so often we're just in a rush. We're always in a rush to go to the next thing, to do the next event, to find the next big thing, right? But a lot of times these grounding asanas really teach us to stay with the shape, to not worry about what's coming next or before, but finding a drishti, finding your focal point, staring at that, feeling the shakiness in the left leg, feeling that outer left hip turn on, feeling the palms together. Take another full breath in. On the exhale, lift the right foot, swing that right leg forward so you're in a one-leg Tadasana. You can even flex the right foot for a little bit more engagement. I want you to give a little bend to your left knee. Take a full breath in. On the exhale, step the right toes back and feel free to adjust your stance if needed for your high lunge. Left leg is in front. Take a full inhale, stretch your arms up. Feel free to keep the arms straight up or maybe interlace your hands again. Cup the back of the head. Open up through the elbows, lift your sternum up, feeling a nice heart opening here. And then with your next breath in, come back to center, stretch the arms up. Before exhaling as you open up to warrior 2. Gazing to your left hand, finding the anchoring through the tailbone. And then finding the even distribution of weight today in your feet in warrior 2. Notice left foot. Notice right foot. Take another full inhale. Exhale, pull the hips back, push into the ball of your left foot. Drop the left hand down to the inside of the left thigh. Stretch your right arm up, inhale. Then exhale, use your left leg as a slide to slide the left hand downward. Maybe bringing hand to ground. Maybe bringing hand to block. If you are bringing your hand down to a surface, I do encourage you to not just dump weight into that block or into the floor. Really staying kind of light in that hand. Keep the legs core engaged. I want you to take one more full breath in. I want everybody to get really light in that left hand. Bend into your left knee. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left arm up and overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Coming back to center through the spine. Straightening again through the left leg. Turning your left toes forward to that long side of the mat as you inhale. And as you exhale, fold down. Now feel free again to grab your blocks if you'd like. This time in Prasarita, what I want you to do is walk your hands towards your right leg. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, fold over that right leg. Feel free to nix your blocks if you'd like. Just folding over the right leg. Keep your feet right where they are though. Try not to turn the feet any direction. Your toes are still pointing to that long left side of the mat. And then take a full breath in, lift the gaze, and walk your hands over to the left. Feel free to bring your blocks if you'd like. Taking a full breath in, lengthening, and then exhaling over the left leg. And then with your next breath in, walk your hands back to center. Long spine, look forward. And as you exhale, walk your hands towards the right. Spin all 10 toes back to that old front of the mat. Let's bring it to lizard. Walk your right foot out to the right so that your hands are right under your shoulders to ground or to blocks. Drop your left knee. Untuck your left toes. Take a full breath and roll the chest up. And as you exhale, bring your forearms down to ground or to blocks. Your blocks have 3 different heights. Utilize the height that works best for you. Relax your head. Notice your breath. With your next breath in, let your gaze come forward. Come back onto your palms. Tuck your back toes. Lift the back knee as you inhale. As you exhale, step your left foot right outside the left hand. One more time, coming back into Malasana. Heels in, toes out, sitting low. Feel free, grab a block, place a block underneath your hips if you'd like. Now for this version of Malasana, I really do want weight into the pinky toe edges of your feet. You can feel that outer rotation, feel the outer hips turn on. Once the low body's aligned, the tailbone's anchoring downward. I'm going to bring your hands again behind your head. But this time, let your elbows kind of collapse in, almost like you're bringing your arms in towards your temples. Then I want you to tuck your chin to your chest, and on the exhale, roll it all the way down. Let the head hang heavy. Keep bringing attention to the tailbone, to the feet. Take 3 more breaths. And with your next breath in, let's roll the spine up. Look forward. Drop your hands down. Press into the hands to lift the hips back up. Feet parallel, feet hip width now. On your next breath in, pull your heart forward, come into a half lift. On your next exhale, bend the knees a little bit. I want you to plant your hands down. We're going to step it back to a plank position. Now, you're more than welcome to lower to your knees for this if you'd like. But I want us to really get grounded in plank. So in this shape, I want you to push through the hands. I want you to anchor your tailbone and maybe let your eyes close. Now, through this, I would consider plank potentially an obstacle, right? Depending on how long we hold it. I want you to use this challenge to work the mind. I want you to bring your mind back to all those things that you're grateful for. So as we hold an intense shape for a long period of time, the mind is actually working on things that you feel grateful for.
Maybe it's just feeling the heat in the body, stepping onto your mat. Keep thinking about those things. Notice how they shift your perspective, and also shift your perspective through asana. Continue to hold. You got 5, 4, 3, 2. Knees down, toes touch, pull back, forehead to ground or to a block, finding your child's pose. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Take 2 more breaths here. And then walk your hands back towards your body, sitting upright, shifting over to a side, bringing your legs forward. Bring your feet together, your knees wide for butterfly pose. You can also sit on a block to elevate your hips, especially if you find that it is tough to even sit upright like this. I want you to look forward and take a full inhale. On the exhale, hinge forward, lean forward. So again, in butterfly, if you're really starting to feel too much of this through your low back and your butterfly looks a bit more like this, if you sit on a block to elevate the hips, it'll help your pelvis kind of tip and tilt to find that hinge to really target and stretch inner thighs. As you find your butterfly, let your eyes close. Bring your palms down to the mat. Focus on your breath. Focus on what is happening right now. Next breath in, roll up. Keep your left leg where it is. Send your right leg straight out in front of you. Take a full breath in, stretch the arms up, flex through the right foot. Exhale, hinge and fold. You can stay seated on your block. If you can create this really nice pelvic tilt and you feel like you have some depth in Janu today, you can start to slide your hands forward, and you might even utilize your block depending on the space and availability that you have. If you can bring your hands to your foot, you can even bring your hands to a block. You can place that block right behind your foot. Reach for that block to find a little bit more depth. Take about 5 breaths. And take a full breath in, roll it on up. Switch legs. Left leg forward, right knee bends, Janu Shirshasana. Torso towards left leg. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, try to hinge. So that hinge is really coming from your pelvis and your hips. So it's the act of your tailbone kind of tipping and lifting up towards the ceiling almost to find that tilt before you hinge and fold. So keep in mind, and that's a tough thing to do. So if the pelvis and hips feel a little stuck, sit on top of the edge of a block. That's option 1. Let's all bring our hands down towards the mat, whether you're here holding the shape, you're here, maybe you're here, maybe you grab for that block again, allowing the eyes to close. Taking 5 breaths. Before inhaling, and you roll back up. Right leg out to meet the left. Inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Palms down to mat or perhaps to your block right behind your feet. Take 5 breaths, please. Take a full breath in. Roll it back up. Bring the feet together, coming back into Sukhasana.
Sitting up tall, bring your left hand to your right thigh, right hand behind you, gaze over the right shoulder, 2 breaths. Going back to center, inhaling. Exhale, right hand to left leg, left hand behind you, 2 breaths. Come back through center. Bring your hands together at your heart. Really starting to feel the effects of your practice and noticing how a gratitude practice not only shifts how we feel physiologically, but really how we feel energetically and mentally. So challenge yourself to feel gratitude throughout your day. Try to weave those things that you're grateful for into your personal life, especially when we feel stressed out, upset, angry, frustrated. I want you to close out your practice in a way that best serves you. It is always an honor being able to guide you. Namaste.